Arsenal have announced the signing of Christian Norgaard from Brentford. And I won't lie, I like this signing. Let's get into it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Yeah, as an Arsenal fan, it's time to rejoice. It's time to be happy, and it's time to celebrate just a little bit. We don't gas a lot, but we gas just a little bit. Because we've managed to sign Christian Norgaard, which for a good fee. I think it's 10 million with 5 million in add-ons. I don't know what those add-ons are. I don't know how those bonuses get achieved, but at the bare minimum it's 10 million, and replacing who he is replacing, Thomas Partey, for us to only spend 10 million at a minimum to do that, I think that's very solid business. Now look, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that are like, don't know if this is enough, and rightly so. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to people and say that they can't have their doubts about this move. However, me personally, I really like this move for a multitude of reasons. One of them being, with Jorginho and Partey leaving, we lost a lot of experience, not just as footballers, but in the Premier League as well. And yeah, we could have gone out and we could have signed XYZ from La Liga, XYZ from Serie A, XYZ from the Bundesliga. We could have. But with Martin Zubimendi coming in, someone who doesn't have that Premier League experience, to then go and bring in someone else who doesn't have Premier League experience in a position in the field, sorry, on the field, not in the field, because, you know, we work on 3 dimensions. I think that would have been a very risky move, and it could have backfired against us. So Norgaard brings in a wealth of experience, both as a footballer and as a Premier League footballer. Now, he was also a captain. He was a captain at Brentford, yeah. And let's not lie to ourselves. Brentford have been a very competitive team in the Premier League over the last 3 to 4 seasons. They've done fairly well. You know, I would argue, given the amount of money that they spend, given that the people that they bring into the club, given their squad, and given their manager, they've definitely punched above their weight. And Norgaard has been a big element to that. So he brings in leadership qualities, which is what we need. Now, hear me out. He's someone who's very tactically intelligent. Yeah. So now let's not act like Thomas Frank doesn't play in a system that requires you to have a certain level of intelligence. He is very tactically intelligent. Just to throw it out there as well, cause I listened to the interviews, the first time I listened to him, he actually sounds intelligent. He sounds like a Harry Potter character. I can't lie, it's the first time I ever listened to him, and I couldn't believe the way that he sounded. He was so articulate. I was like, okay, see, these Scandinavian brothers, they're smart. And you know what? There's another connection there, Scandinavian with the Erdegaard. Them, man, they just intrinsically know each other. Could you get me? Them from their regions where it's snow and it's cold, and they're Vikings and Thor and Asgard, and them, man, come down with the thunder. It's crazy. Yeah, but not only is he's good with the ball at his feet, he's got a good range of pass. He's got a good eye for pass. He's actually someone who can break the lines from deep as well. So we now have 2 DMs that can do that, which I think is going to be very important for us to have going forward next season, considering we will be bringing in a new set of forward line players who hopefully will score more goals than what we was able to score last season. But he's also an evil brother. He's also an evil brother, which is what we need. He loves a tackle. He gets in, stuck in, doesn't shy away. Yeah, he's one of those players that can do the techie, pass the ball, keep possession, keep the game ticking, eye for a pass. But he's also there with the challenges that could break ankles, which is what I love as someone who I've been watching the Premier League from like 1994, 95. You know what I'm saying? And I remember the days of Lee Carsley and Vinnie Jones and Terry Butcher and them, man. I loved the war. I just love the war. And I feel like he's someone that can bring that. And you know what? In all fairness to him, yeah, and I'm not going to lie, when he came out and I saw his interview, I was like, he said something that it really kind of made me go, okay, cool. This is definitely a move for you and your personal dreams and ambitions as well. He was talking about dreams of playing in the Champions League. Hearing the song, I resonate with that feeling. Do you know why? Because when Arsenal were out of the Champions League, I craved it. Just hearing the song, the champions, dude, is different. It hits different. I won't lie to anybody. It hits different. Just hearing that song, it hits different. And I can only imagine as a player standing there on the pitch, hearing that song before you're about to battle in the Champions League. Like, that's what all footballers dream of. All footballers dream of that feeling. All footballers dream of reaching that level. And Norgaard has found a way to achieve that at Arsenal. So look, is he someone that would have been high up on the list for a lot of Arsenal fans? No, definitely not. But I think it's a very smart deal. I think it's a very smart choice. I feel like Arsenal have been very intelligent with this one, because we've been able to secure someone who A, understands the Premier League, B, can play in the Premier League at a very high level, C, has abundance of experience of not only playing against the bigger teams in the Premier League, but actually winning games against them as well. Be it as it may, he hasn't won a trophy at Brentford, but do we ever expect Brentford to win a trophy? I don't. I'll just keep it real, keep it a buck. I don't. But he has won big games, and he has been a part of all of that. And that's definitely something that we need. You know, obviously Arsenal are going through a transformation, and I feel like you can't be too transformative in all areas. There has to be areas where there's a little bit of know-how, you know, there's a little bit of understanding, you know, there's a little bit of not needing to adapt or learn or anything like that. He won't need to do all that. He's already there. Do you know what I'm saying? So, look, Arsenal fans, I know that we always want the best available player. I know we always want the best in slot. I know we all want the Vitinhas, the João Neveses, the Ruizes, you know, the Camavingas, you get me, the Valverdes of the world, you get me, the Caicedos, the Lavi, you get me, we want the creme de la creme, the Pedris, you know. I know that we always want that, but sometimes you have to make these astute signings, these smart signings that greatly improve your squad depth, which is something that we've all been complaining about. We've all been complaining about it. You know, I've been on loads of streams last season where everyone was complaining about the bench. Everyone was complaining about the squad depth. But now I've got Declan Rice and I've got Zubimendi that are starting. And then I've got Norgaard that can come off the bench, that can do a job. And also on top of all of that, like, in scenarios where we just need to lock it down. Just lock it down. We don't need that tiki-taka no more. We don't need that playing ball no more. We just need to shut down the fort. A double pivot of Rice and Norgaard shutting everything down. That's two men that are running up and down the pitch, high energy, clamping man. Taking man's ankles away. Yeah? So look, I think it's a good signing. I know that I'm gonna get a lot of criticism about my joy for this signing. I know I am. I've embraced the fact already. I already understand. It's cool. You can hate, whatever. It's fine. You can call me deluded, whatever. I don't mind. Yeah, because me personally, I understand the signing. I also, from an aspect of, you know, Andrea Berta's come in, and he needs to make signings that. Obviously, he needs to make the big boy signings, the signings that blow the fans away. But he also needs to slowly and surely start fixing the squad and get our squad to a point where there's resale value. So getting deals like this, where he's coming to the end of his career, it is prevalent, but he is still a fit player. Not in that way. It allows us to spend money in other areas to bring in more players to start working on having a bit of resale value within our squad. And I also think, bringing in someone like Norgaard, who has a lot of experience, is very well spoken, very smart, very intelligent, understands the game tactically as well. He's someone else that can push Arteta's message throughout the squad, and he's also someone that can coach the younger players, the Max Daumans, the Wanieris, the Miles Lewis-Skellies, because that's a big miss with Jorginho leaving. So, hey, look, is what it is. I like the signing. Welcome to Arsenal. I hope that, you're part of a group that goes on to win many things. Wish you the best. Looking forward to seeing you at the carpet. And people, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have I gone mad? I don't think I have. But I'll catch you next time.